All right, count me in.
Hey everybody. How's it going? It's quacking off.
What? We got to count,
Oh.
baby.
Well, you should do.
3, 2, 1.
Hold on, we gotta do that again. Here we go.
3.
3, 2, 1.
Beautiful.
Hey everybody, it's quacking off. Oh dear Patreon listeners, we're so grateful to have you. This is on me to not have some actual quote unquote duck related content, but we know that our quackies, they just love hanging out. They're down to I don't know, dude. I keep
Proverbial
hearing
clown, if you will.
I do hear my voice pretty loudly.
How about that? Is this better?
Hello. Yeah, it is better. That's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. That makes no sense to me. Quacking off is about it's just that. It's just us quacking off, just chatting because one of us, aka Adam, didn't do enough research to have a duck related thing coming up. But it's also because we're all friends here. We all just want to chat, check in with you. That being said, if you hate the quacking offs, just get at us. Let us know if you're a Patreon listener, and we'll straighten up. But I imagine sometimes people like the little break, you know?
Yeah, I think it's refreshing to just have a quick check in with the two men behind the quack
Mm-hmm.
and how, everything's been, what we've been up to.
Checking out the mise en scène of the setups that they have, including Aaron. He's got a mini fridge. He's got a coffee pot on an actual radiator, which is an interesting style. I'm wondering if it's there to actually heat up the coffee pot or if it's
Yeah,
just in
yeah,
arm's
yeah.
distance. Okay. He's got nice
Yeah, no,
wooden bowls.
this is a life hack I figured out, oh, maybe 6 months ago, that because I'd always have to bring the coffee pot down to the studio, and then it gets cold by the end of it, which I dislike. And then I realized, or no, I guess it was at the beginning of winter, really, is when I figured it out. So not even 3 months ago.
Word.
But yeah, keeps it hot. It's perfect. Love it.
And that's a quack tip.
Now,
That's the tip of the quack.
that's just the tip of the quack. Quacktivities.
Do you have content to bring to the table? Because I do. I have content that could probably take up this whole quacking off if you were so.
Hey, you start us off and let me fill it in, baby.
Okay, you could probably guess because it's basically my go-to every single time.
Horror
But
movies.
instead of just horror movies, I mean you nailed it basically. But instead of just horror movies, I got a list of every single freaking movie that came out this year. And I don't just watch horror movies. I thought I'd shout out the ones that I have any thought on, maybe some recommendations, maybe some steer away froms, maybe get some of any hot takes of anything you've seen here. I'm literally just going off of Wikipedia's list of American films of 2022. So I guess
Is
it is American.
Barbarian on there?
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. What were your thoughts on Barbarian? I don't know if we ever got
Liked
into
it.
that one. It's
Thought it was
it,
fun.
it's
Started
fun.
off strong. Maybe got less as it went on.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of spoiler alert to anybody who's not seen it.
Spoiler to
I
Barbarian. That's a
enjoyed
big one
that
you don't want spoiled. So, yeah,
I
spoiler alert.
enjoyed that the main character person kept almost dying.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was great. Was that the main person?
Yeah, I
The
forget her
lady?
name. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think about that movie that is undeniable. It's because the fun of it is the structure of like every third that you're going in. You're like, no, wait, what the fuck's going on? Where am I now? Like the
Right. Yeah.
complete, just basically the psycho of it all. Except he
I
does it
think
again.
here's Here's what kind of happened. Okay, there's another movie from way back in the day that's really just a mind. It's a mind fucker. Do not watch it if you've not seen it,
A
but it's
mind
called
fucker.
Irreversible.
I want to see this movie. I've heard of it. I
It
know it's very intense. It's on my list of
but
like
yeah,
fucked
because
up
of the
movies.
opening sequence of the movie that gets
Mm-hmm.
you into it all,
Mm-hmm.
it's so graphically jarring that for the rest of the movie, you feel like this. I at least felt this weird disconnection of just like, I just saw the worst thing you could ever, you know what I mean? And then it just gets worse and deeper and weirder and worse and worse. Like
Yeah.
you actually just start feeling worse. Uh, Barbarian had that same kind of an intro where they hit you so hard with this great setup, and then shit goes down, and then you get that weird Justin Long moment where you're like, you have to come out of the creepies and feel bubbly sunshine with this
Mm-hmm.
guy. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was one of the most clever transitions ever. But it also kind of was a detriment because now you're utilizing the rest of the movie to slowly recover from that initial hit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, I think undeniably the power of the movie is the big like the structure of it, but also it makes it's interesting because every third of the movie, the first third is the strongest. Your tension is so there, and then the Justin Long thing happens, and you're like, oh, and that part is like the key to the movie. But then the second third of it is a little bit weaker because the tension has been released a bit, and then the third part, the tension is less than the first part and the second. But I don't think that's necessarily a detriment to the movie. I think it's
You
just you blew your wad every single time, and it
I
makes it
think
interesting.
I think the detriment to the movie
Mm-hmm.
was its linchpin of being all based around that old man.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a strong enough story arc to warrant the level of, the first beginning thing. Like it seemed a little okay, I
Yeah.
guess.
By that point, yeah. I mean, it's hard. Yeah. But overall, definitely recommend, especially if if you haven't seen it, we just ruined a bit of it. But we gave you
Spoiler alert,
spoilers.
we're talking about movies. I mean, you brought up a movie list and we're going to be talking about them. It's going to be spoilers the
Yeah,
whole
for some of
show.
them. Which we'll try not to. Some of them, if next big twisty one, I'll try to just be like, watch that or don't watch it. But
Okay,
Jackass Forever, I didn't see this
saw it.
one. Was it fun?
Sure.
That's what I'm looking for. That's really what I'm looking for. I want to see it. I'm pretty
It
excited actually.
is it's yeah, it seemed fine, but for me, it's like I watch those movies once and I'll never watch them again, and that's
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah.
I
I
don't even
definitely.
remember this one except for the fact there was a bunch of new faces
Hmm.
and some of them were great, but also sometimes it was a bit too much. I'll say Eric Andre's appearance on it was great.
I love Eric Andre. That's great.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that
But I
out.
mean, it is what it is. It's a home rental, unfortunately.
Um, Death on the Nile was
Ooh,
not great. I don't know about what you think.
I've heard nothing but terrible reviews.
It's very cliche. I mean, like, yes, it's an Agatha Christie novel, so of course
It's been done
it's
a
a
bunch already too.
yeah, it's a classic for a reason. Some of these things that are cliche are because this is an OG kind of thing here. But the movie, it just feels like something you can have on in the background. As far as like the who done it of it, if
Hmm.
I mean, I don't like to base these movies on like, oh well, if I guess the ending, then it's bad. But I certainly saw it coming. I definitely called it like halfway through. I think my girlfriend was kind of basically like, "Yep, I thought that too."
Here's the issue
Hmm.
because for whatever reason, being the bad reader, I latched on to Agatha Christie novels, and I really love that Poirot character.
Yeah.
So I read all of his murder mysteries,
Hmm.
and but the issue is she's like the architect of that style of murder mystery.
Hmm.
So we now live in a time where people have reinvigorated that exact same style. One person specifically who's been in love with it. Uh
Ryan
and
Johnson? I
yes.
don't know.
And so it feels a little old hat now because we've had years of learning this style. We all get it.
Hmm.
So then to rewatch the OGs, it's like, well, we all know the answer because we get this because this is so basic from what we're used
Yeah.
to. But it's like, but this is the shit. This is what it began as.
It's like when you listen to like a very old blues song and you're like, oh, I know when Zeppelin covered this, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I have not seen it. I didn't need to see it though, because I've
Pass.
seen so many other versions of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've heard the acting has also been bad.
people act like well enough. It's supposed to be a big stagey thing. So I don't know if I have
Right.
a problem with the acting per se, but the whole thing was pretty. You get it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, did not see it. Fuck that movie. It looked so bad. I hated it. I'm a huge Texas Chainsaw OG fan. So if it didn't win me over, and I only heard bad things about it. What'd you think of The Batman? Did you see that one? Are you done with superhero movies? Are you over them?
I saw a little bit of it,
It's a long
like
one.
little snippets
Mm-hmm.
as I would walk in and out of the room. Or wait, no, is that the one where he floods the city?
Spoiler alert. But
Spoiler
yeah,
alert. Yep,
it's
seen it. I did sit down and watch it,
yeah.
and
Robert
sure,
Pattinson
why
is.
not? But also don't need it. We're rehashing Batman. We all understand Batman.
I'll tell you this. This is my real basic review of it. I liked it, but I liked it more when it was called The Dark Knight and Christopher Nolan made it. That's about how I feel. They are so damn similar. They are such similar movies. It's just one
Mm-hmm.
is slightly updated, a slightly different take. I like Batman. It was a Batman movie. It had a lot of thought put into it. It was you could have trimmed some fat, but I don't know. I like certain parts of it. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
See, my
But
problem is that I just love the original Batman too much.
you mean the Tim Burton one?
No, Adam West.
Ooh, nice. I do love the little Batusi.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. I love it. Um, so they made X. X came out this year. I thought it was it's a horror movie. It's about kind of based in the 70s. Kind of a porn crew goes to make a porno, and then
Right.
bad things happen. It's a slasher. I thought it was. I didn't ride the hype as much as some people had for it. I think Mia Goth is an amazing actress. I think she's definitely the power of it. And the first like half of it had more. I was more into
Oh,
actually them making the porno than the movie. Not to be a perv, but the sequel, which came out in the same year, which
right.
they made while they were taking time off from COVID, they wrote the script for this one, Mia Goth and the creator Ty West, and the sequel Pearl, which is actually a prequel. That movie I think is great. I cannot recommend it enough if you're a horror fan. If you like The
Right.
Wizard of Oz, it is basically a horror version of what if Dorothy was a crazy murderer. That's about the pitch I got for you. And she never left Kansas. That's a great one. I recommend that if you're a horror fan. The conclusion of the trilogy, Maxine with 3 X's, is coming out, I believe, this upcoming year. So I'm
Okay.
excited about that one. Uh, just to jump to probably my pick for what will probably win Best Picture, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I bet that'll win it.
That movie, I went in cold, saw it in the theater, and the experience was exactly what that title is.
Yeah, it lives up
And
to an
I
insane title.
absolutely I loved it. And I hear that some people have decided to dislike it, and I think that's also fine, but I'm curious why. Like what about it? And they can't just say the multiverse blah blah blah. Like I want some
Yeah.
actual deep definitions because it's not even about a multiverse thing. What did
Yeah,
you
or
think? I
yeah.
loved that movie.
I absolutely loved it too. I think it's a great one of a kind movie. Those directors, they're just called Daniels now, I do
Yeah.
believe,
Yeah.
are amazing. What they did there, and also like the Ki Hoi Kwan Renaissance. I've always loved Short Round, specifically in Temple of Doom. Also like
Mhm.
him in the Goonies, but specifically Temple of Doom. He was my stand-in, my man. I loved him. So good to see a resurgence from him. I hope that movie sweeps so much. There's one movie I personally liked more than Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is just for me. I'm not saying it's a better movie. Nope is my personal favorite film of the year. We have a
Huh.
whole episode on this Patreon dedicated to Nope. I think that is a fantastic, wonderful movie. Nominated for 0 fucking Academy Awards, so go
Of
figure.
course.
Yeah, fuck off. I love that movie. They don't know what they're talking about. But that being said, I hope Everything Everywhere All at Once really
No.
does well.
This is what it is. It's not that they don't know what they're doing. It's that Jordan Peele got them exactly right.
Oh yeah. Well, and I love
The
that
reason
he.
why it has
Yeah.
no awards is the reason why it exists in the first place is that
Yeah.
now that the spectacle is over and we've come back to our status quo vibes, this will just now be ignored. I see. Okay.
Yeah. I think it was too mainstream feeling for some of the more artier crowds, and then too experimental for some of the mainstream crowds, where they're just like,
Really?
why is there a monkey in it? Like, that's, some people that was just a bit too much. I love it though. I can't recommend it more. No, I mean, I think it is also a very scary film. Some people were like, it wasn't really a horror movie though. I'm like,
I wouldn't
did we
say it
just
was.
watch the same movie? It can be a sci-fi movie and a horror movie at the same time. So
Yes.
it's a horror movie.
Okay. As a person who this was going to be one of my topics actually.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to bring up that there's a slight probability that
Mm-hmm.
just days ago I was abducted by aliens and then sent back down.
There could have been a whole ep.
Yeah, could have been.
A future ep. Future ep.
um but that aside, the part that was most disturbing,
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert, is what happens in the digestive process of the
Yep.
alien.
Yep.
And it's like, whew, I hope that part's not real. Totally
Oh,
could be though. Totally
I
fucking
love
could be.
that part. Made the movie for me, especially because at that point you're like, "Am I supposed to be scared of this movie? What's going on?" And it's like, "Oh, yep." It's
Yeah.
like 15 seconds of pure horror, probably 8 seconds. Like it is such a short thing,
Yeah.
but it's just when a UFO is flying over an old macabre, psycho-looking house. Spoiler alert, obviously, and raining blood dripping down the windows, it's hard for me not to be like, yes, this is a sci-fi movie, hence the UFO, and a horror movie, hence the gothic-looking macabre house with blood raining down. Like, it is both. It can
Well,
be
here's what's
both.
funny is that when I watched it, I was watching a Western movie.
It's that too. It's
I was
absolutely a
like, this
Western.
is just an updated Western movie. There's no difference here. He's like experimenting with form and he's
Mm-hmm.
nailing what a Western movie would do. He's just doing it with his little tools, his tool set. It's
Yeah, I
great.
thought it was great. Two movies I didn't see, but I've heard are actually surprisingly good. I didn't see either Sonic the Hedgehog, but people liked Sonic the Hedgehog too,
Yeah,
as
I
well.
saw it.
Was it fun at least?
Sonic 1, I think I liked better. But Sonic, it's fun. For real, it's fun.
That's all you want in a Sonic movie. I love that the internet made them change the look for the better.
Yes, you know which movie I thought was, if I were to rate these movies, I would say Sonic, the first one, is awesome.
Okay.
Detective Pikachu, second,
Mm.
and then Sonic 2.
Hmm.
Because Detective Pikachu is dope.
I did not like it, but only because I am such a diehard Pokemon fan.
See, I'm not at all.
I am diehard. So like for me to be like, oh, they're making a movie with beautiful looking Pokemon. Like this is the movie I've wanted it to look like, but they're gonna be like, all the shit you like about Pokemon? No, 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 no. This is a detective movie, and more importantly, this is a Ryan Reynolds movie. And I was like, fuck that. I don't want
See,
Deadpool Pikachu. I want
Here,
Pikachu.
here's the
That's
problem.
for me. Like,
Here's the problem, and I have to confess to it.
mhm.
I forget, uh, for whatever reason, Ryan Reynolds has cast his spell over me, and I will watch.
Fair enough.
I get the formula. I understand what it's going to be. I
The
like
formula
those
is this. The
things.
formula is this. He's like, yeah, it kind of smells like my dirty balls, and that'll be the joke over and over. But if it works for you, it works for you. Like I
I
could
mean,
see what. Yeah,
Did you see Free Guy?
I didn't. I actually heard that was actually pretty funny.
It's so good.
I
It
bet
is.
you I'd
Talk
like it.
about a fun movie.
I heard he's probably going to be in the next season of Sunny as Mac's boyfriend. I heard.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, they love each other.
They own this
Um,
football team together.
that looked pretty interesting too. That show.
Watched
Did you,
it. Welcome,
is it
dude.
good?
It's so good.
I'll probably check it out. I like both those.
Watch
I
it.
like
It's
them as
great.
people. Yeah, it looked interesting.
Yeah.
This movie I hear is good, which you wouldn't think with the director. Ambulance by Michael Bay. I heard that was actually fun as hell, and no one
Is
saw
that
it.
Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal. There you go.
Yeah.
I heard it's good. I mean, anyone who saw it actually said it was pretty good. 2 movies back to back I saw. I'm not sure I would do a hard recommend for either, but they were interesting. The Northman by Robert Eggers, maker of The Witch and The Lighthouse. I thought it was good. It's a unique story. If you're looking for just a macho, just
What's it called
revenge
again?
tale, The Northman. It was
I
interesting.
don't
It's
know
about
that we
it's a
watched that
Viking.
one.
It's a very Viking period piece, very macho, brutal. It was
Sure.
good, but it was kind of a let. I think most people would say that it let down overall. The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. If you are a Nick Cage fan, it's a required thing to be a Nick Cage fan to see this movie. And
Well, that's what he's
like,
fallen into. That's his own category. You know, he has his
and
own category movies.
yeah.
Tom Cruise has Mission Impossible. Nick Cage has Nick Cage.
Yeah, and this is the ultimate Nick Cage movie. It is him playing himself being kidnapped by someone who, a Colombian drug lord or someone I forget, who loves Nick Cage, and then he goes on a Nick Cage-esque adventure. If
Yeah.
you're a diehard Nick Cage fan, then sure, go ahead. I saw it in theaters. I had a good time, but it's very silly. At one point, he makes out with himself. If that's enough for you, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. You've heard of this movie. If you're a Marvel fan, I'm sure you've seen it. I like when Sam Raimi gets to do Sam Raimi things in it. I'm not. I mean, you've either seen it or you don't want to. So there you go.
I
Are
believe
are
this movie was a letdown.
I think most people are. I was kind of, my expectations were so freaking low. Even though it's Sam Raimi, I'm like, we'll see. It's a Marvel movie too.
Wait,
There
does
there
this
were
have
scenes I
Spider-Man in it?
liked. No, that one.
Spider-Man and
is
him have a
this-
movie where they're doing a thing where Spider-Man fucks with the fabric of time.
Yeah, I thought that one was bad. That's
That's the one I'm thinking of in my head. I didn't like
That's
that
the
one.
Spider-Man multiverse one.
That's
where
the
you-
Spider-Man.
you
Oh
get
wait,
Tobey
maybe I did like
Maguire.
the Spider-Man multiverse. I just didn't like that scene.
I kind of liked it only because I'm a diehard Tobey Maguire Spider-Man fan. So I
Uh-huh.
liked seeing him. So I loved that, and I love seeing like Willem Dafoe, and I love seeing
Hmm.
I
Remind me
forget.
of what this new multiverse one is with Mr. Strange.
Oh, it's Doctor Strange having to go to a bunch of. It's funny. They promoted the Doctor Strange multiverse thing so big about it, but it came after Everything Everywhere All at Once, and so I was just like, I already saw a better multiverse movie. What the fuck's this movie gonna do? And they only go to like
Again, not a multiverse movie.
8 multiverses in it in Doctor
That
Strange. So
seems
it's
like a
like,
lot.
I guess, but like in Everything Everywhere All at Once, they go to like 30. Like really quickly, but like you go to like 30 probably, you know? It felt like it lived up to the expectation. Yeah, I just no thank you. Did you see Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers? Because I was kind of curious about that one.
I did.
Did you have fun?
Uh, it was a letdown.
Okay. What about the Bob's Burgers movie?
Yep,
I liked it. It's like a
loved
big
it.
episode. I
Exactly.
love the
Musical.
highlight for
They've been
me.
wanting to do a musical, I'm
Oh,
sure, and this is a perfect reason to make a musical.
the highlight from the funniest song I've ever heard in a musical, for whatever that's worth. I like some musicals. I'm not a giant musical fan, but the
Me neither.
funniest song I've heard in a musical, full stop, is there is a reveal. The villain has a reveal in Bob's Burgers, and he tells his dastardly plan through a song. And that song, they are such creative and great songwriters on that show.
Yeah.
Just on their typical episodes, it is great. It's a murder mystery too. It is. I like. I mean, it's a big episode of Bob's Burgers, and Bob's Burgers is one of the best shows on TV right now. So it's hard to do better than
Premiere.
that. It's fantastic. Speaking of premiere, I need to see Top Gun Maverick. Still haven't seen it. Heard it's
Watched it.
amazing. I've heard it's amazing.
It is fun. It
That's all I'm
is
looking
Tom
for.
Cruise. Tom Cruising. Uh, it is fun,
Okay.
and I can't promote it because
Because
I
it's
think
just
we're
a
gonna find out some dark shit about Tom Cruise at some point.
yeah. I mean, we're already
It's
like teetering around it.
like I think we're gonna learn some shit. It's like he's got what in his basement?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
He's gonna be barbarian.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But go see his movie before he's canceled. Crimes of the Future is a David Cronenberg. I wouldn't recommend it to you. I wouldn't recommend it to most people. But if you are familiar with old school David Cronenberg, think even before The Fly. More boring than The Fly. Because this movie is slow, but I think it is. I very much enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit. Bombed in the box office, as they always do. But it's cool that Cronenberg is doing old Cronenberg shit. I love
I
his
can't.
son. Just made a new movie. Looks really good,
Oh,
too.
I can't
Infinity Pool.
watch.
Yeah.
I have a VHS copy of The Fly,
Yeah.
and I can't watch it because it's too gross.
I mean, his shit is. This movie's really gross, too. It's centered around. It's in the future. Everything's terrible. People are able to eat plastic because they're slowly evolving to be able to do that because you have to.
Wow.
And meanwhile, Vigo Mortensen plays an artist slash what is it called when you cut open a dead body? That guy,
Mortician.
mortician, a mortician artist who part of his art is cutting open dead bodies in front of people. So that's what
Wow.
you're getting into there. Jurassic World Dominion looked like the dumbest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. And I would be a
Tried twice.
dumbass to see it. He
Tried
tried.
twice. Failed both times. Can't do
I
it.
I love a lot of people in that movie too. I love Sam Neill. I love Laura Dern. I love Jeff Goldblum. I'm not seeing that fucking bullshit. I love Jurassic Park, not Jurassic World though.
No.
Lightyear seemed insane.
It was great.
You and my sister seem to like it. I know the world didn't like it, but maybe it was actually.
Are you kidding me?
It didn't do very well.
Interesting. Well,
Yeah.
it's a really sophisticated fucking movie. Honestly, the storyline, the fact. Okay, here's the problem that probably put people off was that it's also a time travel movie. Spoiler alert.
Hmm.
So because of all the shit that happened, he's a test pilot trying to get these people saved. There's a whole thing where when he comes back, time has passed. It's been a day for him, but it's been many years for them on the planet. So as they go from being stranded to
Mm.
now living there, because it's been 75 years, but
Oh,
for him it's been
cool.
a week, or whatever.
I do love. They did that on Interstellar too, and that was like
Yeah,
my favorite scene. Honestly,
yeah.
I wish they
So
would have
this
dealt
is
with that a little more.
Yeah, so this is exactly.
Hmm.
It's a fun high level physics situation that's going on, and people aren't interested in that because it's an actual thing you have to fucking, process and understand.
I may check it out. I may check it out.
I would say
Um,
people go watch Contact first, and if
that's
you
a great one.
love Contact, you're going to love Lightyear.
Hell yeah, I liked Contact. I was so young when I saw it, but yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I loved it so much that I actually dedicated my life to Jodie Foster, and I tried to kill the president to impress her.
Okay.
Okay. Elvis. I'm not a big fan of Baz Luhrmann. Like
I know that name.
you either are or you aren't. He's the guy who did his biggest movie, god damn it, is Itchy Itchy Kakayata.
I
Moulin
know that
Rouge.
song.
That's it. Moulin Rouge is his biggest movie. Also, The Great
Huh.
Gatsby. He's into the just most glittery movie you've ever seen. That his
Oh,
he's
sure.
such
I
a
think
look.
I know what movie you're talking about, maybe.
Elvis, baby, Elvis the
Oh,
biopic. It.
yeah.
I was kind of in. I was somehow in. I was like, that movie may be a disaster, but I may want to see it. I didn't. So, but it was one funny thing is that actor, the young actor who played Elvis, he has been accused of because for a year or two he's like, yeah, I'm doing the Elvis voice and I'm just talking like Elvis for a while, like just trying to get my Elvis. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like very much that, and he nails it in the movie from what I saw. But after he was doing a bunch of interviews and stuff, and the motherfucker talks like Elvis now. And even when he hosts SNL like a couple weeks ago, motherfucker sounded like Elvis. And you can watch interviews before where he's like, yeah, no, I'm excited to be in this movie. Like, sounds nothing like Elvis. So he's just like dedicated his life to sound like Elvis, which I kind of like.
Do
But
you
he
think he's
denies
just
it.
doing it for the press junket because of the award ceremonies and all this?
I mean, if he is,
He's just
still
showing how good of an
dedicated.
actor he is
You're kind of a
constantly.
bad
So
actor if you're like, I can't break out of Elvis now. My next role, I'll be playing
it's
JFK as
look,
Elvis. Thank you very
look.
much.
Whatever he's doing, it was better when Robert Downey Jr. did it in Tropic Thunder. Okay. Don't
I
mess
can't
with the master's craft. Only Robert Downey Jr. in specifically that movie is that a thing you can maybe pull off, I think.
and barely. The Black
Barely.
Phone. I heard people say the Black Phone was really good. Sounds very emotional. I did not see it.
What is it
Whatever.
called?
The Black Phone horror movie with Ethan Hawke
Uli
seems
watched
very
it.
triggering for little kids. I'll say that. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is adorable. It's an A24 movie. Jenny Slate voices a very little shell.
Yep.
And then wonderful actress that I cannot remember her name. She is in Blue Velvet. She's the lead in Blue Velvet. Help me out here. She's Italian.
Don't know, brother. Monica Bellucci.
No, I good guess though. That was a very good guess. I'm gonna have to look it up because I'll feel terrible if I don't get her name right.
Did you watch the YouTube series when Jenny Slate first did it, like forever ago?
My girlfriend was a huge fan. I did not, though.
Right.
So I went into the movie I knew roughly who Marcel was. Warning for that one. You're probably gonna cry. I'll tell you that one.
I cried.
Especially
I cried
with
at the YouTube series stuff when it came out. She's so perfect at that.
The movie is. I hope it wins Best Animated Feature. Actually, it's kind of a weak year for it, so I hope it does. Isabella Rossellini, of course, is who I meant.
Okay.
She is great in it as well. She's a wonderful voice actress. Okay, let's see. We're running low on time, so I'm getting through the last here. Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Yep,
Saw it.
watched it.
Made me laugh. Banana.
Yeah, not the best one
It's
of
not the
that
best Minions
series,
movie. No, it is not. But
which is
it
a
does have
letdown
Minions.
because it was their movie to have. And it for whatever I wish they would have spent loads. I wish they would have paced out their time, their passage through time
Mm-hmm.
a bit more, just so we can have some more quirky antics in historical moments.
You know,
But whatever.
I heard someone point out one of the reasons why they had them and then they went into a cave for 7 decades and then they came out. One of the reasons why they made that creative choice in the Minions movie is they're like, we probably shouldn't have the Minions meet Hitler because they would
Right.
probably like him too much.
Right.
But that would have been funny as fuck, honestly.
I mean, you have to
I want a
ignore
whole movie
Hitler
of
for
that.
sure.
I want a whole movie of the Minions being little Nazi servants. By the way, budget for Minions: The Rise of Gru, $80 million. How much do you think it made at box office?
Are we talking international or are we talking American?
International, whole hog. In general, how much did
probably
this make?
I would probably say 4 billion.
No, that would make it by far the most successful movie that's ever been made. Like,
Oh, I just assumed most movies internationally made 1 billion.
no, well, that's the goal, and I'll tell you, this movie basically reached the goal, 939 million. That billion mark is like, you made it. You're a top tier, baby. That being said, Avatar just hit. They've surpassed 2 billion, going for that third, which would really put it up there. Yeah.
It's funny. I mean, all of the movies that I keep bringing up are like 2022, I feel like.
This is literally the 2022 list I'm going off of. I'm
Oh,
going for
okay.
2022
Did this one come
movies.
from 2022? The
What were we
Bob
talking about?
Odenkirk movie?
Oh, is that called No One? Nobody?
Nobody.
Was it good? My sister loved it.
It's awesome.
I love
But-
Bob Odenkirk.
But it was also the first movie that got me keyed in on the fact, because I was listening to an interview with Bob Odenkirk, I believe
Mhm.
on Comedy Bang Bang,
Hmm.
where he brought up that outside of America, no one knows Bob Odenkirk as a funny guy. Internationally, he's known as Saul Goodman.
Yeah. That's
so he's
true.
known as a different person. And so this movie was designed for not just American viewers, because he knows he's going to get those people because we love him. But
Yeah.
this was designed to show off a different area for his international marketplace because it's stronger. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, that is every Marvel movie for the last 4 years has been
Yeah.
international markets are in mind now. That's why
You know
they feel
what's nuts?
flatter to us, because
Mhm.
they're not flattering to us.
That's absolutely true. You nailed it. What's crazy is I believe no Marvel movie has been released in China.
Right. I think I knew that.
They go for everywhere else, but they're like,
Right.
yeah, we can't get in there. Because
It's
they
pro-American
always deem it-
propaganda.
yeah, they always find a way to be like, I mean, it is pro. I mean, there's a character named fucking Captain America.
Exactly.
Who, even though he seems weaker than everyone else, is stronger because his heart is truer.
He's the leader.
He's the lead. No, you don't understand.
And you can't
He
have
loves freedom.
You can't have your people knowing or thinking there's a different country who's the leader.
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. I did not see Bullet Train. Did you see it? It looks quirky, fun.
I saw the last third of it, and there's a bunch of movies like it that have happened for a while.
Yeah.
It looked fucking awesome, and I'm pretty sure because I only saw the final third, I'm missing a lot of connecting things.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the story was super awesome, but it felt too familiar in a way that was unappealing.
I get you. Prey is a great Predator
Loved
movie.
it.
Really smart. And it really brought up the argument that is like, Why don't we have like a Predator movie every year or two in a different time period? Because it's an easy way to make a whole lot of money.
Well, it
Was never
seemed like
released in
that's what they
theaters.
were gearing up for with this one. They're like, oh, sure, let's go back to the crash, and then we'll slowly work this Predator through time.
hmm Barbarian, obviously, we talked about. I will say, many have told me about a movie starring Aubrey Plaza called Emily the Criminal. Mainly, friend of the show, Hithliday, has recommended it a couple times. I haven't seen it yet, but it is high on my list. I've heard it's really slept on, really fantastic movie. Blonde looked like bullshit, honestly. Don't worry, darling. All the free movie stuff is what made it interesting, seemingly. Didn't see Hocus Pocus 2. I mean, I think. Oh, Terrifier 2 was a really shitty movie. I hated that horror movie. It is not worth it. It's way too long. It's cool that it made like millions of dollars off a nothing budget, but
I
it's
never heard
bad.
of it.
I don't like it. Halloween Ends, I also heard was terrible.
Loved it.
Oh, really? I remember
Yep.
you having that take. I need to watch it just because.
I like all the Danny McBride Halloweens. I think both. I think he's done 2 or 3. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
I've
he's
seen
done 3.
2.
I saw the first one. I had fun with it. I didn't see the second one.
I think I've
Yeah.
seen all 3 then, and I just love Danny McBride. I think he's such a fun and interesting dude.
On this podcast, I have said I really liked Weird, the Al Yankovic story. It's not perfect. It drags a little bit, about 2/3 through, but I think it's very funny. I love
Hey,
Weird Al.
every comedy movie always drags around 2/3 through.
That is true.
Every
The Menu
comedy
is
movie
fun.
does it.
The Menu is
That's where
fun
you
if
put your
you're
valley for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, that's a hard thing to engage for.
Well, your typical stoner is coming down by that point, and so now they just want to kind of like veg out, eat a Sammy, watch the remaining part, enjoy that, smoke a little
Um,
bowl for the ending.
2 movies that came out this year that I have not seen that I do want to see. They are on my list. I just haven't gotten to them. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. The Fablemans. I want to see.
Wow, wow,
Uh,
really?
Yeah, I'll see it. It seems good. David Lynch is in it for a scene, I do believe. I've heard that it's Spielberg's best movie in years. I'll check it out.
Of
The
course, it's
Menu.
his best movie. It's him.
It's his. Well, that's why the fact that it's personal kind of intrigued me, and it seems like he's pulling less punches. Kind of intrigued.
The fact that it was him telling his own story through his
Yeah.
the way he tells. He's telling the story of how he tells stories through the way he tells stories. And it's like, what? It's a little too you, I think, for me. Maybe
I
I'll
get
watch
you.
it, but I'm just like is there so it's got one of two things, either a complete lack of ego or so much ego that
Definitely
I'm
a
like,
lot.
I don't
Yeah,
know how
that's
to
true.
like
That's
I
a
don't
good.
know where your mind is at making this thing. I don't know that I want to find out by watching it.
Good way to. I like that. The Menu is a border somewhat. It's more of a comedy than a horror. If you ever worked
Uli
food
liked it.
service industry, I think it's fun. It is silly. You won't be scared. If you work
It is
in
a
the food
whodunit
service
though,
industry,
right?
it's fun. You're figuring there's mystery elements, but it's not a murder mystery.
Okay.
Pretty quickly you're like, oh, those are the bad guys.
Gotcha.
It's a service industry revenge porn, a lot like Triangle of Sadness, which came out recently. I didn't see it. Bones
or
and All.
Waiting with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, honestly, Bones and All. That's probably my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie. Bones and All is a cannibals meet Bonnie and Clyde. That's about it. Timothy Chalamet's in it. It is a good movie.
Love him.
Oh, well, you should check it out. And then I did like it. It did make me think, if he's trying to eat me, I could take him. The dude weighs like 100 pounds.
See, here's
Never-
the problem though, is that here's another man that has cast his spell upon me that I'm like, you're just so adorable that I just want to cuddle you. If you're trying to do anything evil to me, I might let you do it.
Hey, you should watch that movie.
He's so
That's-
charming. It's
You should-
incredible how charming he is to me. He makes
You
me
should,
feel goo goo gaga.
for real, you and Uli got to watch it because it is
Great.
a romantic movie more so than a horror. It's basically like two runaway teens that happen to be cannibals.
Great. What's it called?
Bones and all.
Bones and all.
From the director of Suspiria and
No,
Call
I
Me
have.
by Your
Oh,
Name.
wow. I like Suspiria. That guy's cool.
Oh, if you like Suspiria, check it out. Absolutely.
It's interesting to me that do you proactively want to watch the Marvel movies, or are you just watching them because you're this
I
far
passively.
invested? You might as well keep going.
I really liked the Infinity War run. That got me back into Marvel, and I liked that. Since then, it's been pretty. I watched Doctor Strange because because of Sam Raimi. I'm gonna watch Black Panther 2 because I've heard good things, and I like Black Panther 1. I pick and choose. I'm not gonna be Ant-Man, Quantum, whatever,
See,
unless I get some good reviews.
this is funny because the Ant-Man ones are the ones that
They are
I'm
fun.
willing to watch anymore because not so they're not taking themselves so seriously.
Yeah, and they're sometimes they're heist centered usually. And
Yeah.
no,
I
it's
also
fun.
love the
Yeah.
Thor ones because you can tell they're kind of taking a piss while they're on
Yeah.
set, and I love that.
I heard bad
'Cause it's
things about
fun.
Love and Thunder though.
Hmm?
I didn't want to see Love and Thunder. Thor Love
Loved
and
it.
Thunder.
Thought it was great.
You loved it? Okay, maybe I'll check
Thought
it
it
out.
was great. I love the Thor movies. They're fun, and that's what they should be.
Just like these Quacking Offs, which this has been a blast. Y'all, I got to run to work. I hope this is not ruining anyone's Patreon experience, us, having off-topic conversations every once in a while. If so,
And
let us know.
spoiling movies for you.
Spoiling movies. If you loved it, let us know. Maybe we'll do a few more of these every once in a while. But it's an off season. It's an off topic. We love y'all. Go Ducks. Go to the movies. Bye.
Quack quack.
Here's Quacky.